President of the United States is saying that as far as a new directive or strategy to take on ISIS, not so fast. This is from the president about an hour ago.
The one exception is that there have been a few who suggested that we should put large numbers of U.S. troops on the ground. It is not just my view, but the view of my closest military and civilian advisors that that would be a mistake.
All right, I want to go to Nile Gardiner now from the Margaret Thatcher Center for Freedom. He's a director there. What the president seems to be saying in between the lines here is, despite these overtures with Vladimir Putin, where they're talking, trying to iron out how to deal with this, as far as we are concerned, there isn't going to be a big difference in how we deal with this, right?
I think that's right, Neil. And I would say that President Obama's press conference this morning in Turkey at the G20 was rather bizarre. It was defiant, it was very angry, extremely defensive. He spent half the time attacking his domestic critics. There was no big picture vision presented here for U.S. strategy. And clearly, I mean, this is a president who doesn't really have a clue about what to do against ISIS. He's presenting no new ideas here. And it's a rather sad day when the French president looks far stronger on the world stage than the American president.
Nonetheless, there was renewed hope that this powwow with Vladimir Putin and the president and their translators, that's it, huddled around a table, it seemed like, might open the possibility that the two work together. My only question now is how, and what do they do?
Yeah, of course, Putin and Obama did meet on the sidelines of the G20, but I don't think anything concrete really came out of that meeting. And I think that U.S. and Russian aims in Syria are very different. And so far, of course, Vladimir Putin has directed the vast majority of his airstrikes against non-ISIS rebel organizations. Certainly that was discussed, I think, between the two leaders. But they are really poles apart when it comes to dealing with Assad. And I think that Vladimir Putin's bigger grand strategy for Syria is very different to that of the United States or Great Britain. At the moment, I think that Putin is sort of running rings around President Obama. That's very unfortunate here. I don't think that really Obama has much stomach for this fight. He certainly doesn't have any big picture grand strategy. And at the moment, I think that the world is missing American leadership.
All right, and he did say, too, that he isn't going to alter this plan to bring in 100,000 of these refugees that the European continent has been dealing with to the United States. 6 states, as you know, Nile, have said, we don't want them here. That list is likely to grow. So I don't know where those 100,000 will go, or the screening process that they will endure to see who gets in. But obviously, there's a local reaction that says, we don't like what you're doing about this, right?
Yeah, and with very good reason, Neil, because look at the situation in Europe. Around 1 million refugees or migrants have entered Europe, and according to an internal German government document last week, the Germans have admitted that they're not really able to screen these refugees at all. And so already with the Paris attacks, at least one of the terrorists is known to be a refugee or with a refugee passport. And perhaps one more of the terrorists as well. So we have a huge security problem on our hands. The Obama administration has to present a clear-cut plan, I think, to the United States Congress with regard to how it's going to screen these refugees, because certainly the Germans are not able to do it. No one in Europe's been able to do it. And so how is the Obama administration going to be able to screen properly huge numbers of refugees coming from a war zone? And there has been no answer whatsoever from this administration on this.
Nile, thank you very much. Always good seeing you. I don't like under these circumstances, my friend, but thank you nevertheless.